Welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, we're having another go on the tope. Got Kev with me this morning. We've just put two baits out with frozen on to start with. We chucked the feathers about, managed to get some fresh. So I'm going to put a fresh one out now. Fresh is best, Wayne. Remember that one, mate. So I've got a mackerel, probably just legal size. It's got a 10-0 circle in the top, 6-0 shortness in the bottom. I'll snip that tail off when I've clipped it on my rod before I cast it out. So we'll reel this in and then recast that one basically. Yeah, so the old rig with frozen-on's come in, totally stripped. Just putting that out. I've just spun the circle through the head because I didn't want happy where it hooked on. So we'll just snip that off, snip the tail off before we cast out. There's not a lot. It's not bleeding like mad because obviously the gut sack's still intact. Throw that in. I've got braid on this setup, by the way, 80-pound braid to an 80-pound leader, just because they've got a lot of stringy, annoying weed floating around in front of us. It's not a massive problem. It just gets on the line sometimes, and it can be a problem when it wraps around knots. Obviously, I've got a smaller leader knot basically than what you have with mono. There's no stretching braid. You can just cut through the weed a bit as well when you're reeling in. It's more when you're reeling it's a problem. So that's going to go out. Let's see. Might just give the old gut sack a couple of pin scissors with a grip lead wire. Just go down it. Just let a bit of scent out. It's not bleeding very much, that mackerel, to be fair. We'll try and fire this out. But it impairs your casting a touch using this braid, but if you get a fish on and it goes down tight, you can turn it so quite easily. But we'll see how it goes. If we're not happy with how far we're casting, we'll switch to mono. So that's what's came in off the last bait up that way tail section. I suspect the spider crabs have been at it. When you're fishing clean ground, it's useful just clipping on and clipping off, isn't it? You know, rigs in between bait ups and stuff just saves a bit of time. A bit of extra preparation. So we're going to have a few more casts with the feathers. Keep an eye on the rod on the bottom. Hopefully it goes screaming off like. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Fishing, it's not like a massively deep mark here, but I won't fancy falling in all the same. But like on a corner piece, the tide goes left and right depending on what stage side it is. Screams to the right at the moment. And it'll say like that. Probably for most of the time while we're here. So we're fishing the flood about an hour and a half before high. And he's looking good at the moment. We've got wind off our backs. If we do get one on, we should be able to land them quite comfortably. The rain hasn't come as forecast, so it should be quite a comfortable session hopefully. See how we get on.
Tope on! Get on, Cal, get on! Tope on!
I don't know what's best to do with it, Kev, in terms of landing it. Can you just get it on surface first?
Let's get it on the surface, Cal. No. Can't see it yet.
I can.
Yeah. Tope's in, baby! Get on. What are you doing there, Carl?
Done it. We've done it. Very open to land that one. It's tired, right? But I'll show the 6 hour short for the business. And that's, I'm not even going to be able to weigh it because I don't want to keep her out of water. She's knackered. She'll be a foot, she'll be 38, probably not quite PB, but she's a lovely fish. Fresh mackerel, been out about 2 minutes, Kev?
Yeah, about 2 minutes, Carl.
Nice
no longer,
one.
mate.
Yeah, I can have some photographs and we'll put it back. It's recorded alright?
Yeah.
Get me more out to see some. Yeah. Set footage. I've got camera, I've got pictures, yeah?
Yeah. I still video.
Video, right, let's get that. Next bait up, I've just had a spider crab. I'm going to send a full joey out again. Now that was just a tail section we put out for that. Yeah, so that's a cracking start. Kev's on running all the rods, both rods now. It was a screamer, that absolute screamer as well. Yeah, buzzing. But I definitely owe Kev a Tope after, if not this session, definitely the next one. But I think we've still got a chance of one here today. But everything, you saw me bait up with that full joey. It's like a just legal mackerel, it really is just. And that, it screamed off, it ran like mad, and it was hooked on the bottom hook. O'Shaughnessy. Don't mess about with them nickel plated hooks, the shit. Like I say. We'll do what we did last time. I noticed when I punctured the fish, it really did. So it worked last time, so we'll try it again. It really did ooze, some real nice blood out. But yeah, I've got 80-pound braid on. I've got an 80-pound leader. It's picking weed up on the rig and stuff, and on the leader knot, but you can flick it off on the way in. You can hammer the tope back in the tide, against the tide, and it's working. It's worked for one fish, so hopefully it'll work for the next one, fingers crossed. Got a team of dolphins working out here. Don't know if you can see them. There's one. There's massive, I don't know what you call them, but there's a massive pod. There must be about 30 of them or something like that. There's absolutely shed loads of them. We've had loads of mackerel. Kev's had loads of mackerel. Always nice to see. They've gone a bit quiet now. Further down. Yeah, they've moved past, I think. We'll try a smaller bait. Half a mackerel. Well, it's not like it's a shorter bait more than a smaller bait, if you know what I mean. So we're bigger mackerel than the smaller ones we've been firing out full. So see how we get on with that. Might get it out a little bit further in this tide run. Right, I put a second rod out. This is second bait with a second rod. Don't always assume that you have to load your hooks up to the max. Last week I had a Tope on just that, with the tail bit left on. So we'll try that. We're on a different mark last week, like. Smaller bait you can sometimes cast further, so don't feel you have to load it up. Think about that, getting further out in the tide as much as possible, where possible. So if you've got two rods, fish a smaller bait on one and a larger bait on the other. Just straightforward enough. So we'll get that fired out now. That's fairest I've cast, definitely. With mono, you can just cast further, can't you? Actually. Yeah, so the second rod's the mono set up, by the way. Sorry, so one camera, you can talk. Sorry, you can talk. What were you going to say? Yeah, I did soft rock rigs as well. You get one on this section, you'll get it in because the rigs stay down here. You know, it's on this ground. It's more clear ground. Yeah, more clear ground as well. So it'd be good if we do get one up, it'd be good to get it on this side, basically. Now I know how to just jump on it. So do you reckon Tope? I get on alright with the big baits. The smaller baits, I don't like it. Have you tried one? No. Yeah. He casts these 7 or 8 ounces. You can give it a little bit more. Fingers crossed we get another tope out, because that'd be a complete session if we do. Right, we're just packing down now. Well, we're more or less all packed up. The sea started ebbing, it went really quiet. Even the bait fish disappeared. So that's it for this session. Short and sweet. We had a tope on the second bait up. First bait we put out was frozen. I then put a joey mackerel on that you saw me bait up on camera. It was barely on the bottom 2 minutes. It just went screaming off. Managed to land a tope, probably mid-30s. I'd say 35 pound, I'd say, max. I was a bit generous, I think, at the time. But it were nice fish. Big shout out to Kev for landing it, well, helping me land it, because you just couldn't have done it on your own. It would have been really tricky. Hopefully, Kev will get one out himself soon. He definitely deserves one. So, other than that, that's it. So, we'll see you in the next one. I think I might be out tomorrow morning. Might try for some on the Huss mark, see if we can get any tope there, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. Other than that, keep safe, tight lines. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Right then, guys, it's a bit of an extended outro. And I mean that, I really do mean that. Big thanks to Kev, for helping with that fish, because you'd be in the crap, really, if you didn't have if it's a two-man team at times on some marks. This one mark happens to be one of them. If anyone wants to ask what I'm doing differently to what I've done for the last, I caught my first tope in 2002. What am I doing differently? Nothing. I've changed little bits as I've gone on, but literally, it's all about the fish being there, and that's all. It's purely as simple as it is. And it were on it that today. That fish, it were an absolutely mental take. I was feathering at the side of the rod. I just put a fresh mackerel on. You'd seen me bait it up and cast it out, and it had been on the seabed. I'd cast my feathers out just as I put the rod on the rod rest, put it in run, cast my feathers out. I got a string full of mackerel on, and the rod screamed off at 100 mile an hour. Right? I had a right good fight with it. 80-pound braid, 80-pound shock leader, reeling it in, scrapped it all the way, and against the tide, you wouldn't be able to do it. I think you'd struggle with 25-pound mono when it's like that. And got it into the bottom of the rocks, trying to use the drop net that Lincoln very kindly given me. And there's nothing wrong with the drop net. It's the operator. Never used one before. Just couldn't for the life of me get it in the drop net. The fish has been on the surface for a while, going up and down in the little bit of white water in the edge. It was totally fine. So I've decided I'm going down onto the bottom ledge. I've never gone down to the bottom ledge from the top. But when you've got adrenaline pumping through your body, it makes the climb a lot easier. Straight down. Kev's got the rod at this point above me. Big shout out to Kev. I could not have done this without him. He's on above me with my rod. I've gone down to bottom ledge, and he's somehow between Kev holding the rod and the sea. It's beached it for me on the rocks. Beautiful. Went over it, disconnected the rig. Kev put my rod back. I moved the fish to a suitable place to get a photograph and unhook it away from where the water were lapping up. 6:00 Shaughnessy. The backup was a 10:00 Keoki Circle. 6:00 Shaughnessy, straight inside at mouth, not a problem. Didn't let it do a stupid run like people do. Start letting them take loads of line, putting it on back foot when there's a tide run and stuff. Didn't let it do that. Played it all the way in on the bottom hook on the pennel. I've tried dongles. I've had them work at times. I've had them fail me. The last two have failed me, so I've come back to pennels basically. But you need that 6-0 O'Shaughnessy on the bottom. I think actually, sorry, it was a 7-0 O'Shaughnessy. It fits into the splashdown, believe it or not. You need them on the bottom. Thick gauge hooks. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about your hooks snapping. You don't have to worry about your hooks bending out. Don't buy the specimen hooks. There's loads out there. They're a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I've had loads of them break out, loads of them snap. That's why I don't use them anymore. But people still continue to market them like they're the best thing since sliced bread, and they're not. Right, so that's why we landed that fish. It's going up and down in the tide on a strong hook. Fair play to the fish. It gave me a right good scrap. It was never coming off, but yeah. So I don't know what the plan is now. We may only go out husk fishing, try the husk mark, see if we can get a tope off there. But as far as this weekend goes, I think it's job done, and we'll just see what happens. If this wind drops, we might just have a lure session tomorrow. We'll see, though. I'm going to head off back now, get some breakfast. It's Nick's birthday today, so might go down to the pub for a pint and catch up with a few friends and stuff. So, well happy. But I'm blowing my own trumpet. Kev deserves exactly the same amount as me, like, bigging myself up because I've caught a tope. He deserves exactly the same praise, and the same recognition as the guy that caught the tope. And that's our challenge this year, to get Kev a tope, definitely. Oh, well, he's going to get himself a tope, but we'll help him. We'll help him with it, obviously. So, yeah, nice one. Thanks a lot, Kev, mate. You're an absolute star. Right, that's it then, guys. I'll see you in the next one, basically. Off to a flyer on the tope this year, unlike last year. So, win-win, well happy. Keep safe, tight lines. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.